Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Aux Talks. It is Friday, March 22nd, 2024. I hope that all of you are having a productive end of the work week and have some big plans for the weekend. As we do every Friday on this show, I would encourage each and every one of you, as I am doing as well, take some time on the weekends to continue to go through your preparations, continue to assess where you are at with your supplies, with your security, with your food, your water, your medical needs, all those things that if the lights went out like that, that you would need to be able to survive and be able to protect you and your family. Real quickly, before I get into the content today, do me a favor and check to make sure that you guys are still subscribed to the channel. I've seen a bit of a down draw on these subscribers. Again, maybe that's just attrition. That happens, but it's not too typical. So if you can make sure you're still subscribed, I have heard stories. I know it's happening on other channels as well where people are getting unsubscribed unknowingly. So thanks for checking that. Appreciate you guys being here and watching these videos. If you're not subscribed, please do so for me. Hit the thumbs up button and the bell notification as well. Share these videos. Put them all over your social media. Share them with family, friends, colleagues, and coworkers so people can we can help people to continue to educate themselves about the real things that are going on. Briefly, let's talk about the markets today. I was surprised by this action. We had the 10-year bond yield, which was down substantially. We had the stock market sell off, especially the Dow was down over 300 points. We have cryptos selling off pretty bigly, and we also have gold and silver selling off. The only thing I saw that was up today was the US dollar. So we all know that that is a joke. The US dollar is dying. It's been dying. It's on its last leg. The purchasing power of our dollar is nowhere near what it was, last year, the year before, 10 years ago. So I hope that you are considering buying real assets, holding real things that will maintain value and maintain a source of liquidity for you if needed. And in that regard, I'm obviously a big fan of the precious metals. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a buy and hold. They don't provide any kind of yield. If you're reaching for yield, then you want to go gamble in the stock market. That's up to you. But obviously, I think that's something that everybody should be considering. Let me address two stories today. One is geopolitical and one is economic. The geopolitical story is important, and I just want to touch on it. It came out of Zero Hedge earlier out of Russia. And it says Russian state media, as well as the Wall Street Journal's regional correspondent, is reporting at least 40 people killed and over 100 people wounded and injured in the unfolding major terror attack, it says, on Moscow's largest concert hall. Initial videos have emerged showing what appears to be attackers in combat fatigues with assault rifles going around the mall part of the venue, which is attached to the concert hall, it says, and shooting randomly. There are reports from RT of follow-up blasts happening even amid a huge security, police, and emergency response. And I'm keeping a track on the updates. There are still areas on fire, explosions. I did watch some of the videos that were posted on X earlier of these gunmen, and it is brutal. I mean, they're literally walking around point-blank range with AR-15s and killing people. So the point is this. Oh, and by the way, then Russia came out, their media, and said, well, because I guess a few days ago, Washington posted something saying that, that they don't want their diplomats and other people being in public gathering places in the big cities in Russia for the next 48 hours. And now this happens. So Russia TV came out right away and said, look, what did the United States know, if they knew anything, or what did Washington know that they didn't disclose? Now the recent update is about half an hour ago. Supposedly ISIS has come out and claimed responsibility for the attacks. This thing is ongoing. It's unfolding. You might say, well, look, it's over there. This is Russia. How does this impact us? It absolutely impacts us, guys. I mean, if it is ISIS or whatever group, militant group, You think for a second, if they can have an attack like that on a big area in Moscow, or anywhere in a country like Russia, that they could not be and could not plan and carry out similar type attacks here in this country. They absolutely could. And I think it would be naive for any of us to think that those things aren't actually, potentially, in the works. So what does that mean for us? It means that we have to be diligent. It means that we have to keep our head on a swivel. I talk about this all the time on the channel. You have to be aware of your surroundings, but you also have to have the ability to defend yourself. Now look, some situations are overwhelming. Could someone who had a pistol on them have guarded against several gunmen with automatic or with assault rifles? The reality is no. But you have to give yourself the best chance possible and your family. And so, yeah, it's a depressing topic, but please please work on your security, whatever that means. And maybe it's even less lethal things like having, pepper sprays, bear sprays, having tasers, looking at all those options. Obviously, obey the laws in your state and jurisdiction. But look, there are different layers of security and ways that you can protect yourself. We know every day, I talk about this on the channel, about having the tools that obviously everyone should, in my opinion, be considering for that purpose. So that's why I want to share this Russian story. It's obviously important news, and it's important geopolitically because the world is very unstable right now. And where's this going to lead? I mean, the ISIS thing is interesting. We'll see if it's pinned on them or not. But the fact that Russia came out right away and said, look, what did the U.S. know? We are really skating on thin ice with this conflict right now. And obviously, who's on the battlefield in Ukraine, who's not on the battlefield. There's a whole array of stories. You can go and look at that. But this is coming very, very, very dangerously close to World War III, in my opinion, folks. So next article I'll share with you, it was actually a few days ago. It was out of the Business Insider, and it's based upon the title of today's video, America has a trapped-in-place economy. And I think that probably a lot of us feel that way, that we're working harder, we're not getting paid more, we have more responsibility. Obviously, those of us like myself that work for ourselves, have our own business, we don't necessarily feel this as much. We certainly feel a slowdown in the economy. We feel when prices are higher than they've ever been. But for those that are working for somebody else and their wages aren't keeping up with inflation, we know that. And I'll go into these different categories that this author covers in this article about how it just, you can't change it up. You can't improve your situation right now. You can't go out and get a new home because they're unaffordable and the mortgage rates are 7%. You can't go out and lease or buy a new car because the cars are so unaffordable and the loan payments and lease payments are so high right now. The insurance costs are so high. So obviously we're getting bombarded from every single angle. I just thought it was an interesting article that I wanted to summarize and share with you. And obviously I want to get your thoughts. Comment below, what are you guys feeling? I understand probably 9 out of 10 people are feeling the pinch, and I hear some of your stories. But what do you think about this stagnancy and this stasis that we're in right now? And what do you expect? What do you think is going to happen? My take is if the Fed does reverse course and starts to lower rates, then we're going to see everything continue to skyrocket. So the article says, if you like your situation right now, your job, your house, your car, you can keep it. But if you don't, well, tough luck because you might have to keep it anyway. It says this is, by the way, the author is Emily Stewart. This was from the Business Insider 2 days ago. It says if you are trying to move, to buy a car, whatnot, then you have all these bad buying conditions on top of everyday high prices. So it's a double whammy, she says. This is Joanne Su, the director of consumer surveys at the University of Michigan, has told this author. It says on a micro day-to-day level, there's a real sense of stasis. Inflation is falling, but prices are still much higher. I pause there. My editorial comment is I don't believe that inflation necessarily is coming down. I believe that the mainstream media wants you to believe it's coming down, but I don't believe in actuality it probably is. It says, but prices are still much higher than they were before the pandemic. Interest rates are elevated. We know that. The labor market has cooled off somewhat, making it less advantageous to hunt for a new job. Everything seems stuck. Take the housing market, for example. Home prices have come off of their 2022 peak, yet they're still, listen to this, 47% higher than they were in 2019. That is unbelievable. According to the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Home Price Index, 47% higher than they were just, 4.5, 5 years ago. Even if you manage to find a deal on a home, getting a loan could be quite costly. Thanks to the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes, mortgage rates are much higher than they were just a couple of years ago, are hovering around 7%, compared with just 2.5% in 2021. Not only do these high rates weigh on prospective buyers, but anyone thinking of selling their home is likely to be turned off because their current mortgage rate is probably much lower than a new mortgage rate would be. So once again, they're stuck. The car market, talk about the car market, is in a similar situation. Vehicles are expensive. Loans are getting tougher to come by, and even if you manage to get credit, elevated interest rates are making financing costly. Car insurance is much more than it used to be too. The Bureau of Labor Statistics' most recent consumer price index indicates the cost of car insurance, here we go, listen to this, is up more than 20% over the past year. 20% increase on getting on vehicle insurance. This is when it comes to work or employment, the vibe is also static. The labor market, it says, is strong, but it's not a great time to be looking for a new job. Again, I would editorialize and say, I don't think the labor market is necessarily strong. If you believe the BLS statistics, it is strong. Unemployment is low, but unemployment is creeping up, and we're seeing the massive layoffs that we discuss on this channel almost every day, if not weekly. It says companies aren't laying people off en masse. There are a lot of layoffs and more to come, but they're also not bringing employees on board quickly. Hiring has slowed significantly from where it was in 2021, 2022, and it's much lower than one would expect with the current unemployment rate. Again, that doesn't juxtapose. The downshift in hiring has also tipped the balance of power. Listen to this, we talk about this, back towards the employers. While wages are still on the upswing, switching jobs may not come with as much of a pay bump. Wages, we talked about that last week, or maybe it was earlier this week on the show. Wages are incrementally falling. They're increasing, but at a slower pace year over year. So you're not being paid more for the work that you're performing. It says, it takes the unemployed, she says, it takes now double the time to get a job as it did before 2008. A job search that used to take 10 weeks at a similar unemployment rate now takes 20 weeks. That's 5 months. Leave your comment below. Are you got any of you looking for work? Have you found that it's difficult or it's taking longer? What are your experiences? I'd love to hear your comments on that. It says what all this translates to is a scenario where some Americans feel trapped, and I would venture to say probably more than others. More than not. They can put food on the table and fill up their gas tanks, albeit at a price they'd rather not be paying, but it's hard and expensive to move up the ladder in many meaningful ways. So, again, this is not hard data here, but it shows some statistics about the elements, the various, let's say, areas in this economy, housing, the car market, the employment market, that we know is going in a direction that makes it unaffordable for most people. So with that being said, I'll leave it there. It's about 15 minutes. I'll be leaving to get my workout in today. I'm going to try to get a show or two up throughout the weekend. This weekend I do have some plans. I hope all of you will be productive. Hope all of you will stay active this weekend. Do not disregard those workouts. Get that cardio in. Get some strength training in. And watch the diet. It's easy to get sloppy over the weekend. We all do it. But you'd be amazed at how quickly those calories add up. And it is a lot harder to burn those calories than it is to pack them in. So watch the diet. We have to keep getting more healthy and stronger as a nation. That being said, stay on guard this weekend. A lot going on. I will touch base and for sure see all of you in the coming days. Have a great afternoon and evening. Bye.